Kia ora, Year 9. This video we're going to learn lots of new words that we use in algebra. So let's start with expressions. Now expressions usually doesn't have the equal sign. So an expression which is made up of variables and constants along with algebraic operations, addition or subtraction. So expressions are made out of terms. So again, you'll feel like, oh, what are variables, what are constants, and what are terms? I don't really understand. Now let's simply think about English. And we say it's awesome, awesome, fantastic, brilliant, handsome. We use words or phrases to express ourselves. It's quite similar in mathematics as well. And what about equations? If in terms of English, I can say, you are beautiful, he is handsome, it is amazing. So you can see that that is a full sentence statement. And same in mathematics, we have a mathematical statement that can be translated into a complete English sentence. So let's say A is 2. So if we translate it, that will give us A equaled 2. So equations always have equal signs. Now let's have a look at what are the terms. Terms are the elements separated by the plus or minus sign. Now let's have a look at the example at the bottom here and see what are the terms. Now terms says elements separated by plus or minus. So we have plus, minus, and minus here. So we can say that these plus can separate this expression into several parts. So we can say there are how many terms? 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 4 terms and they are 3x squared positive 2y, negative 7xy. Please make sure that you carry the sign that is in the front of the number, and negative 5. So we have 4 terms. They are 3x squared, 2y, negative 7xy, and negative 5. So these are terms. Now what are the variables? Now variables are usually the letters that represent an unknown figure. And the reason we call it variables because we know that we don't know the exact value of that and we know that it can vary. So all the letters that you see will be variables. So very straightforward. Variables are the letters that you can see. So we can see X and we can see Y. Now let's have a look at the new word here, coefficients. Coefficients are talking about the numbers that's part of the terms with variables. Another way to say that is the number that is attached to the variables or the letters. So if we look at here, the example, I can see that there's 3 attached to the variable x and this 2 attached to y, and I have this negative 3, always remember to carry the sign, attached to the variable. However, the last number here, negative 5, doesn't have any variables attached, so therefore we cannot call it coefficient. So the coefficients for these examples are 3, 2, and negative 7. Now let's have a look at the last word, which is called constant. Now constant is the term that has number alone without any variables, without any letters. So if I look at all 4 terms here, there's only one term that doesn't have any variables or doesn't have any letters. So therefore we call this constant. And it actually doesn't make sense as well because this is the fixed number that is given to us, no variables attached, and this is a fixed value. It doesn't change, so we call it constant. Let's have a look at another example here. So if you see this, I got an expression. There's no equal sign. There's no left-hand side equal to right-hand side. So this is not an equation. This is an expression. So let's firstly look for the terms. So the terms are separated by plus, minus, and minus. So I'm gonna just draw the line here. Okay, so the terms are a and positive 3x, negative 2y, remember to carry the sign, negative 100. And let's look for variables. Variables are the letters that you see. So they are a, x, and y. Now let's have a look at the coefficients. So the coefficients are the numbers that is attached to the variables. So we have positive 3, we have negative 2. But let's have a look at another variable, which is a. Does it really not have a coefficient with it? So usually because you say, there's nothing I can see, so there's no variable, but in fact it's not true. Because let's think about it this way. A can be equal to 1 times A. And 1 times A give us what? It's A. And in algebra, we also can write 1 times A as 1A. So therefore, when we see A, the variables alone, we actually see there's an invisible 1. So this is actually same as 1A. So we can say the coefficient is 1. We cannot say there's no coefficient, because if the coefficient is nothing, that means 0 times A, that will give us 0. It no longer exists. So therefore, it is 1 times A, 1A, so the coefficient is 1. So the coefficients will be 1, 3, and negative 2. 1, 3, and negative 2. And the constants will be the number that is alone. So we can see the number negative 100, remember to carry the sign, is alone. There's no letters attached to it. So that will be called constant. So it's negative 100.